Hi everybody, and welcome to Josiah is Right. So I want to do a little bit of a kind of a, I guess, solemn video, maybe you could say. I don't know if that's right. It's for a writing teacher, so he'd probably be sad that I don't have something written. So a few months ago, my writing mentor and teacher, S.L. Stebel, Sid, passed away. And I was really sad, like about a year ago, right before my second daughter Primrose was born. I was hoping to try to get to see Sid again, and he was 97 years old when he passed, so he remembered me when his wife Karen showed him a picture, and so I was looking forward to seeing him, and it just never worked out, which is really unfortunate and really makes me sad. I wish I could have made that happen, but I didn't. And then he actually had a birthday party for, I believe, his 97th birthday in June or July, and I missed that, or May. It's sometime in the last few months obviously have been a blur. And then he passed, I believe, July or August. And again, this is all a blur, and I feel terrible for not having it here, but I just wanted to tell you about him so you can appreciate a writer that doesn't get appreciated enough. Sid is how I got to meet Ray Bradbury at Ray's favorite Chinese restaurant in Chinatown in downtown LA. So it was really special for me to get to meet him, but kind of as I get older, that's, my childhood writing hero was Ray Bradbury, so that was really amazing. But to have Sid be my mentor and teacher for those years at USC. So I went to USC, the Masters of Professional Writing program, and that's where I met Sid. He was teaching me a class that was meant to be a mystery writing class, which I thought, I can write a mystery, that sounds fun. And I was sort of trying to write a zombie mystery at the time, and he's like, well, what do you want to write? And he's like, write that. So I shifted gears and wrote what I wanted to write. And it was me and maybe one other student in that class at the time. A couple kids dropped. I was in my late 20s and they were probably old too. This is 10 years ago now, more than 10 years ago. And the class was just basically me and one other student. And it was really a great, great learning experience. That project is still kind of an albatross. It's my science fiction project, Storm the Machine. I wrote most of it with Sid then 12 years ago and have been kind of stuck for various reasons. Another friend's suicide that was helping me with the project. A lot of things, but this isn't about that. It wouldn't exist at all in any form if it wasn't for Sid guiding me and teaching me and helping me learn what my story is. And that's what I want to talk about right now. Go find Sid's work, S.L. Stebel's work. So the first one, I've mentioned other things, and I've even used one of his exercises, and hopefully I can get more of that stuff in videos in the future. And the first is this book, Double Your Creative Power. So it's a whole lot of words on this, and it's a relatively short book, easy read, but I highly recommend it. Get this book if you want to improve as a writer. There's techniques on finding your secret story, all that stuff, and of course, the Ray Bradbury quote, Sid Stebel is the best writing teacher that ever was. And LA Week, West Side Weekly, Los Angeles Times, book reviews, reviews for him, more stuff. This is a highly recommended book. This was like our text in the class. It was really, we would read this, and it wasn't X amount of pages per day, but we would read this in the class, work on things, talk through it. He would work in the Santa Barbara Writers Workshop, which I believe he founded, and he ran that for years and tutored and taught, maybe that's the right word. He educated a lot of great writers and a lot of people that just were able to find their story because of Sid and Sid's teaching. And like I said, I've shared before in a video about finding your secret story. I learned this technique through Ray Bradbury and watching the Ray Bradbury Theater, which another friend sent me. Thank you to Nikki. I really appreciate that if you're watching, Nikki. You should be watching. I'll send you this video so you can watch. If you watch only one video, Nikki, it's this one. So I'm talking about Ray Bradbury, talking about the videos from your mom who passed. And I guess there's a connection there. Sid passed, Ray passed 3 years ago, your mom has passed. So they're all tied together through words in some way. And hopefully I can connect, and different people that write can tell stories for people. So find this book first. Double Your Creative Power. Read this now. He needs to be appreciated. Okay, there's a little bit probably of an awkward edit there as I kind of try to maintain my emotions a little bit. So I have two books physically with me, and a third one I want to talk about that I can't find right now. We just moved and I've got myself decorated here, but I can't find the third book. So I'll talk about the third book first, and it is The Boss's Wife. This is a book from the late 80s. It's really cool because it's like sort of proto-computer hacker. I highly recommend it. It was almost going to star Johnny Depp as a feature film at that time, and I think it would be really cool if this were made a movie today, but set when it was set, because it's like a very different type of technology, primitive by today's standards, but it's the main character uses that. It's this sort of noir crime theory in a thriller in a modern setting. The boss's wife, and it's like this affair and what's going on and the computer technology, but in a cool like late 80s way. Very, very cool, interesting book. That's Penny talking upstairs. So check that one out. The next one I want to talk about is his tome of a book here, The Collaborator. So this one is really cool. And there's youngish Sid. Definitely not as I knew him. Is he on this one too? So there's Sid right there. So let me see. There's another dust jacket of classy Sid. Sid would often wear like an ascot. A much cooler guy than me. Served in World War II. Like lived a life that I can only imagine. I think he's originally from Iowa, so became and to me in a weird way he's as LA as he can get. Before I forget it as well, watch The Picnic at Hanging Rock, the film. There's now like a Amazon Prime series, I believe. But the film version, Sid was like the consultant on it with, it's a Peter Weir film. And he went down to Australia and was like he's credited as script consultant, but from what I understand, he basically wrote the thing and was doing the rights when he was rewrites and all that constantly when he was there on set as they filmed this film. So check that out. He was born in Iowa, just looking at the back of this book. So he served in the Army during World War II, saw 2 years of combat in the Pacific, traveled extensively in Mexico and Europe. So that's Sid. So this book is basically about what if this Jew was a Nazi collaborator. Really interesting. Really, this is at least from what I have, this is his most thick George R.R. Martin-esque, like, long read. How many pages this guy got? Like 300 and something, so not super long. But check it out. Check out The Collaborator. But the book I want to talk about is my favorite book of Sid's. And in a way, it's maybe the the least, totally opposite word, the least like Sid in some ways, because it's sort of it's a fantasy novel in a way. It's called Spring Thaw. So this book is my favorite book of his. And it's basically like this fantasy, and just read it. I mean, you signed it for me, like, to me. Great to have you in class. No, wait. So go find Sid's work. Like I said, I have 3 of the books here. There's a few others that are published. I think they're all out of print. Perhaps Double Your Creative Power is still available. But just check out Sid's work right here. Some of it. Go find more. It's highly worth reading. I guess, and just, I'm reflecting a lot on people that have passed and people that are gone and people that aren't with us. And particularly in COVID, I haven't seen my side of the family in a while. My mom and dad and my siblings haven't met my daughter Prim. And like when I think that Sid could have met Penny and that didn't happen and it's my fault, those things weigh heavy on my heart. And I miss Sid a great deal. And I wish I'd seen him more in the last several years of his life. And he was older, he was 80s, well into his 80s when I knew him. And you just kind of think, even with someone like that, 'cause Sid seemed unstoppable. Just a little guy, but just seemed unstoppable. And you think that people will be around forever. Maybe you don't, but you don't. I don't. But you take it for granted at the same time. So love those around you and spend time with people you want to see. It's crazy. I'm in COVID and it's hard to socialize and in a healthy way. But do Zoom, do FaceTime, do Duo, no Google, or Android device. Just communicate with those you love. But when you're not doing that, Go find this book if you want to write. Go find this book if you want to read. And this book, And the Boss's Wife, and other work by S.L. Stebel. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to go find more stuff about Sid and read some books. Bye.